From VentureX Studios, it's JP, Kathy, and the crew.
Well, it's the end of the week. We've made it. Can't believe it's Friday already. Thank goodness. We made it. Woohoo! Welcome to JP, Kathy, and the crew. We're super excited to have you with us today. Hopefully you are joining us and you're now into your first, second, or third cup of coffee, as it may be. So we are very happy to have you with us. We have got Lathan Watts in studio, our guest co-host today. Obviously, Lathan is from First Liberty. For the first segment, he is going to have his First Liberty official hat on. Then after that, he's giving us a Rolling Stones review. He's giving us an update from PETA with baseball, which when you sent that, I'm like, dude, you can't make that up.
I wish I was making it
Yeah, I know, but you're not.
Yeah.
And then we also have Angela Powell, who is a Plano ISD school board trustee who will be coming in today, not in her capacity as a school board member, though. She'll be coming in as a business owner. This will be her third startup that she is getting ready to take an adventure with, and we're very excited to have her in studio a little bit later in the show. So, hey, Lathan, how are you?
I'm good. It's good to be back.
Excellent. Well,
It's been a while.
always good to have you back. Always. You've been traveling man lately.
I have.
So, so we're very, very excited to see you. So let's talk. I mean, there's so much going on. First of all, Bunny Pounds, our dear friend, with Christians Engaged, and she's been on our radio show, our podcast. She's been on my other show, Heart and Soul of Texas Women, just a phenomenal individual. And she has her first conference.
Yeah, this weekend.
Yeah, so I know you and I will be there tonight to cheer her on, and promises to be a phenomenal weekend and really a way for Christians to get engaged. Hence the name Christians Engaged. Yeah. Good one, Bunny. And she's going to be, equipping us and giving us information that we need. And we'll talk. If we have time, I want to talk a little bit about some of the elections from Tuesday night. I mean, my goodness, again, after you get your official First Liberty hat off. So let's talk about what's going on now, mandates, vaccines, all of this. It's still huge. It's still a huge topic. You and I have somebody who we know in common who recently had a scare here in Texas because he's had COVID, has been tested. Antibodies are off the charts, like to where if I get it or one of my family members gets it, I'm going to be like knocking on his door going, hey, can we have some of your blood or platelets or whatever it is that you take from him? But was told after 10 years of work at his company that if you don't have the shot by a certain amount of time, sorry, catch you later. Now, thankfully, Governor Abbott stepped in, changed that for people who live in the state of Texas. But lots of people all over are still battling this, Lathan.
Well, and OSHA just finally, the rule was officially published in the Federal Register today.
Oh, okay.
Is requiring all businesses with 100 employees or more to mandate vaccines for all employees or face fines up to $14,000 per employee who is not vaccinated.
That would financially devastate you. And so for an agency basically to come in and be able to tell a private sector business what to do.
Right. So there's already, we're filing a lawsuit today.
Oh, I'm sure.
In both the Fifth Circuit and the Sixth Circuit.
Okay.
Lots of people are going to challenge it. I expect it'll get into court quickly.
Yes.
And we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
We're also representing over 30 Navy SEALs who do not want who have religious convictions related to this vaccine, and the DOD's mandated it for all military personnel.
Right.
Plus other cases that we've got related to it, basically all over the country. And all of this is in addition to all the other kinds of work that we were already doing.
Right.
I've never seen us stretched this thin.
I don't know how y'all are doing it. I mean,
because we have a Supreme Court case to prepare for.
Right.
That's going to be argued next month.
Yep.
We have 2 more that are up for consideration that could be granted.
Keep us posted on those. It would love to hear
one of them
about
is
that.
Coach Kennedy. So
okay.
He's back on the list.
Okay, good.
The other is I think the name of the church is New Life in Christ. It's in Fredericksburg, Virginia. they had a campus ministry, and they had a house on campus for their campus ministers. And the city of Fredericksburg decided that according to the municipal court's interpretation of the Presbyterian Book of Church Order, the way they read the definition, those two people didn't meet the definition of minister, and therefore they couldn't claim a property tax exemption on this parsonage, and so they started taxing the property.
So is this? It depends on what the definition of is. I mean,
no, it depends on who gets to what it is. What it comes down to is who gets to define who your ministers are, and that is the church's responsibility.
That is not the government's.
That's level of government.
That's so true. Not local, not state, not federal. That's determined by the church.
Exactly.
You're right.
So that's another case that could potentially be at the Supreme Court. We've filed cert on that one.
Yeah.
So we've got all of the, I don't want to say like the normal kind of stuff that we do, because we don't really have a normal kind of case. I mean, all of ours don't really fall into any normal category. But and then, COVID just dumped all this, created a whole new area of practice for us. So
and
we're
let's talk about these.
busy.
I mean, of course, y'all are crazy busy. Always looking for donations.
Sure.
So firstliberty.org. Go and check them out. Follow them. Help them out. Y'all, and again, we've said this before when you're on the show, even if you are not a person who of faith, if you're not, you're not Christian, Catholic, Jewish, whatever the case may be, you're agnostic, you're atheist. Again, this can flip on you. I mean, let's talk on this. This is one of those things that obviously those of us who are believers, we've got to be able to have somebody to fight for our religious liberty. Unfortunately, it seems to be more and more and more under fire. So, but let's talk about, even if you're not a believer, this can flip on you too.
Well, absolutely. I mean, Thomas Jefferson called religious liberty the right of conscience. Yes. So for people who aren't particularly religious, they still have likely a set of ideas they want to live their life by. And for them, that's what religious liberty protects. Even though for people of faith, their conscience is informed by religious teaching, you never know when whatever your deeply held belief is going to be out of step with the rest of the culture, with the rest of society. If the rest of the society says, we don't like that, the First Amendment exists to protect your right to continue to live your life that way.
Right, yeah.
And right now there's a pretty long list of issues that people across the spectrum of religious traditions have deeply held beliefs on that are at odds with what's popular in the culture right now. And they have the right to continue living that way.
Right.
That's what the First Amendment is protecting. And, even if you talk about, like, from a free speech standpoint, it's the unpopular opinion that needs the most protection.
Absolutely.
And you never know when some opinion of yours is going to end up in that category.
It's going to be the most unpopular. You're right.
You should be willing to defend it even for people with whom you disagree.
Absolutely. And I think that's so important for you to put out there whenever you're on the show, because again, these are basic fundamental rights. Well, heck, we just had a constitutional amendment in the way of protecting religion in the state of Texas. Let's talk about Proposition 3. Right. Or Amendment number 3. A huge win. Yeah. For those of us who believe in the ability to go to church.
I sort of look at it as like belt and suspenders.
Yeah.
I mean, it was Texas putting into the Texas Constitution an amendment that explicitly says you can't close a church.
Right. Right.
Okay, government, you cannot tell a church that they cannot gather to worship. I believe, since the Bill of Rights has been incorporated against the states after the Civil War and the 14th Amendment, that they never had the right to do that anyway.
Right.
The First Amendment protects that right. However, if a state wants to provide more protection to its people than the U.S. Constitution, it can. It just can't provide less.
Right.
So ever since the Bill of Rights was incorporated to the states, it has been basically a floor, not a ceiling. So if Texas wants to provide more protection, they can. They just can't provide less.
Right.
So I was not surprised that passed overwhelmingly.
Right. And it's interesting. We had Senator Angela Powell, or Angela Paxton. Sorry, we've got Angela Powell coming in studio today. School board. Angela Paxton, our state senator here in SD 8, Senatorial District 8. She was on our show Wednesday doing a wrap up, and she and I were talking about how we assumed that particular amendment would pass like 75% or more. We were kind of like, not that a win's not a win. A win is a win
Right.
is a win. And 62%, yes, that's basically a huge landslide. But we were like, thought it would be 75% or more, you know? So, but anyways, very, very excited about that passing. But these Navy SEALs, so you're talking about, and there's 30.
It's 30 plus.
30 plus, okay.
It was hovering between 30 and 40, and I
Okay.
didn't see like what the final count of how many
Okay.
ended up on the lawsuit. So I know it's more than 30. It may be somewhere around 37, 38. something like
Okay.
that.
Well, so and these are people who have, they've got they've got that check that they ultimately could cash, that ultimate check that they've literally committed to put their life on the line for liberty, for freedom, for America, and they're being penalized. Help me with that, Lathan.
Yeah, I mean, they're being threatened with court-martial. They're being told that if we court-martial you, we might also sue you individually to recoup the money we spent training you to be a SEAL, which would
You're
be
kidding me.
hundreds of thousands,
Oh,
if not
I
$1
can't even
million
imagine.
per SEAL.
I mean, because you're talking the elite of the elite, the
Exactly.
best of the best.
Exactly.
Lots of money has gone into, and thankfully,
Yes.
and rightfully so, because again, these are people who are the ultimate, folks who are going to protect us. So basically, they could literally be, first of all, the career that they love, and that's a calling. If you go into
Sure.
the military, that's a calling.
Yep.
It is what it is. That is a calling. So this life of service and this dedication to country, and then they could be, because of that, they could be financially ruined because their religious beliefs don't allow them
Yeah,
to
I
get
mean, their
this
career is
vaccine.
over, and then you're being threatened with, and we're going to come after you for the money we spent training
Which
you
could
to.
literally ruin you for a lifetime.
Absolutely.
My goodness. So, well, thank goodness you guys are stepping up and taking care of them. So we go to either the 5th or the 6th district court, and then how does it go from there?
Well, it depends where
Or
all
circuit
of these
court.
where all of these guys are. So
Oh,
we
okay.
just filed suit either at the end of the day yesterday, or it might even actually be first thing
So
this
this
morning.
is hot off the press.
It's brand new. We did a press conference in D.C.
Yeah.
yesterday with Mike Berry, who
Yeah.
handles all of our military cases, and 2 or 3 senators
Yeah.
joined him.
Oh, very good.
To express support, and we'll see. There may be a solution that can be worked out that way, but in the meantime, we're going to take this to court and see if we can't get this resolved for them.
Yeah, well, and thank goodness. And so please keep us posted on this. We'd love
Yeah.
to have you back on to show us the progress of this. Obviously, the Coach Kennedy case we've followed for
Sure.
years and years with you. So please keep us posted, especially if that ends up. So it's in consideration. What
Right,
happens
so
with
we
that?
we filed cert, so now we have to wait to see when it gets listed on the conference
Okay.
list, because they meet once a week when they're in session to conference to consider potential
Okay.
cases, and they take a vote. Case gets 4 votes, it goes on the granted list. If it doesn't get
Gotcha.
4 votes, it goes on the denied list. So we filed cert, so now we just have to wait to see when it gets listed for consideration,
Perfect. Yeah.
and then we wait to see how they vote.
Okay, well, and I think there's so many of us who have been following this for so long, and we're so ready for this to just be resolved, for his peace
Certainly.
of mind, for and also just again to know, is it okay if a coach wants to pray and
Yeah.
and thank Jesus for his position as a coach, for
Yeah.
his opportunity to influence kids in a positive manner. Again, you just you've got to fight for these rights. You just do. And thank goodness we've got First Liberty and you and good folks at First Liberty who are helping out with this. So okay, now any other First Liberty business before I ask you to take off your hat and talk a little bit
We're
of
so
politics?
busy right now. The only thing I would say is that we're inundated with phone calls right now. So if you can do us a favor, if you have a question about anything related to the vaccine, go to the website first, because there's a free download PDF
Yes.
of a toolkit that will help you request a religious exemption if that's what's going
And
on.
it's very prominently listed on
It's on the homepage.
yeah,
It's
on the
easy to
homepage.
find.
Yeah.
Look at that first, read it, put it to use, and then call us if it doesn't work out.
Okay, gotcha.
And even then, if you use it, you request an exemption and it's denied, come back to the website and fill out the Get Legal Help
Right.
form. We're not trying to be bureaucratic. We cannot handle the phone traffic, and
Well,
we're
I
afraid
mean,
something's going to get missed.
And
so
you,
if you
and you don't want anything to
website,
fall between the cracks.
right,
That's exactly where y'all are
tracks
coming
all
with
the
this.
communication that way.
Exactly. So again, if you are, in another state, if you're anywhere where you're being told you have to get this vaccine, you have an option. You've
Right.
got choices. So okay, so we're officially taking off Lathan's First Liberty hat. We love First Liberty, but now I want to talk a little politics because
Sure.
Lathan and I met way back in the day. You were in high school. No. We met back in the day when we were young Republicans, when we qualified for young Republicans. So we're obviously very political. You've been an elected official. I've been an elected official. We love this stuff. We eat, drink, live, breathe it. So Virginia.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Virginia and also New Jersey, which what we were, at best, it was like going to be a 10-point difference, but most folks were predicting 10 to more like 15% difference. And now we're talking recounts and all kinds of stuff. So tell us your thoughts on Tuesday's results. Is this a message that people are sending to the Biden administration?
It's a message for lots of different people. Any midterm election is always a referendum on the president. Always. Doesn't matter who it is, doesn't matter how much they tell you it's not. Every midterm election is a referendum on the current president. And so just like the next year's congressional elections will be, these were the first big elections leading up to that. And so, yes, it was. Youngkin in Virginia made it about a referendum on Biden. McAuliffe brought in every big name, nationally known Dem he could to make it a national
and it was
election.
We're talking every heavy hitter that they've got in their arsenal right now.
Yeah, he brought them all.
Yeah.
So he was trying to nationalize the election.
Yes.
Which also indicates that this was a referendum on the Biden administration.
Absolutely.
Because McAuliffe, he nationalized it. Okay. You want to know what the nation thinks, or at least
you're going to see
from the folks in Virginia, and that's what it was. What Youngkin did a really, really good job of, even though he was addressing the things that were going on that people were concerned about from a national perspective, because he knew it was kind of a referendum election. But he keyed in on specific things that in Virginia, specific to Virginia, the stuff going on in education in Virginia. I personally believe that election was over when Terry McAuliffe said in a debate that parents don't have any right to tell teachers what to do.
I
End of story.
think mic drop. That was it.
That was it, because even Democrat parents are not going to stand up. Are not going to put up with that.
Well, why would any parent?
No,
look at
the turnout.
This takes Lathan. This takes Republican parents, Democrat parents, Independent parents, Green Party parents. All of a sudden, you're not a Republican, you're not a Democrat. You are a mom or a dad who is like, wait a second, this is my kid.
So you take that on top of what happened in Loudoun County, they got all the attention, and then you look at how people turned out. Even Bill Maher talked about this, who said, you better be careful because parents vote.
Absolutely.
And you telling parents they don't have any business telling you what to do with their kids in schools.
Can be a problem.
Exactly.
Can be a problem.
And I think that's exactly what happened. You look at what are typically high blue vote counties. There wasn't as much blue vote turned out, which means some of those either did not vote for McAuliffe because they didn't like what he was talking about, or some of them may have actually crossed over and voted for Youngkin to send a message, and it worked. They didn't just win the governorship. They won all three statewide races, governor, lieutenant governor, and attorney general, and they took back the House of Delegates in Virginia.
And yes, which, again, this was just a sweep. This was a huge victory for Republicans in that state. I tell you what, and I would love to do a show just on her. I love the lieutenant governor. Yeah. She is just, former military. Just an immigrant, just dad came over here with a couple of bucks in his pocket, living the American dream. Daughter is now an elected official. And then also with Youngkin, I think he's just a likable guy. You know, he just came across as very no nonsense. And in a time in our country when things are spinning out of control and we're basically waking up and getting news that's coming from the administration, and we're like, wait a second, this is America. How is this okay in America? I think somebody who comes across with a very common sense, no nonsense approach is going to get traction.
Absolutely. And the message for Republicans, where it should be, he didn't make it about him.
Oh, thank you.
He didn't run on his biography or his personality.
No.
He ran on the things that people were upset about in Virginia and said, give me a chance to fix them.
Right.
As much as Biden, or as much as McAuliffe tried to make it about, make the Republican, about Trump, he wouldn't let him.
Yeah.
This is not about Donald Trump. This is about
Virginia.
Virginia.
Not. It's about his state.
I'm sure, there were probably people telling him, oh, yeah, you got to get Trump to come in here and campaign. And he did not.
No.
He knows that Virginia is not a purple state. Virginia is a blue state.
Oh, without a doubt.
It just went red.
It just went red.
By a long shot.
Not okay. Again, you've got your top 3 statewide officers, but then you also have, like you said, their delegates, their House of Delegation. I mean, something can be done for we the people in Virginia now.
Right.
That's huge. Now, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Now, and you're really good at predicting elections. Did you see this being a dead heat and going, days on end?
I was watching it, probably not as closely as I was watching stuff in Virginia.
Right.
So I was probably thinking about like everybody else that, this guy seems to be doing well. He may make it closer than Democrats are comfortable with, but it's still New Jersey, and he's probably still going to lose.
Right.
The fact that he's, within maybe 10,000 votes in an election of 3 million, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a recount.
Yes.
Don't know if that means he actually wins. But the election in New Jersey that I think people should be more worried about is the truck driver who spent $153 and beat the Senate president of New Jersey.
Okay, I'm so glad that you brought this up because I had totally forgotten about this. I'd read about this and it was off my radar. Let's talk about this. So cool.
So this guy beats basically the number 3 man in New Jersey. He's like the president of the state Senate in New Jersey, the top guy in the Senate in New Jersey, a truck driver who basically just spent the money to get on the ballot. Won. Yeah. He beat the guy.
Yes.
In New Jersey, right?
Again, New Jersey, y'all. I mean, talk about blue.
I think what you're seeing, if there's a trend that came out of the 4 years of the way Trump campaigned and the issues that he worked on, if there's a long-lasting impact that his 4 years have on the Republican Party, it will be that he moved the Republican Party back to a party of working-class people.
Yes. Yep.
And
yeah.
And so you see a truck driver win a state Senate seat in fairly deep blue New Jersey.
Yes.
That tells you that working class people are shifting.
Yeah.
It's not new. I mean, they invented the term Reagan Democrat.
Yes.
Because working class people crossed over and voted for him.
Well, and like
labor union guys, blue collar guys,
and labor. Yeah. Let me tell you, I have seen union boss type folks across the country get up and they're demanding for, again, common sense to go back. So when you've got your folks who are always in the blue or in the Democrat category coming out and saying, "Hey guys, this isn't going to help us at all. This doesn't help our folks. This doesn't help the business owners. This doesn't help the small mom and pop folks."
Some of the union guys are already out talking about this OSHA rule on the vaccine that is not good for the workforce.
Right.
There's already a worker shortage, and you're about to tell folks that they can't come to work unless they get the shot, and they don't want to get the shot. You're only going to make the problem worse.
And here's the thing. I mean, I'm sure you've noticed. You go out to the grocery store, and there's starting to be sections of grocery stores where the shelves are blank, and they're not getting filled back in. And I'm imagine this. I chatted up, and I've become friends with the manager of my local neighborhood Walmart. Shocking, I know. And so whenever I come in, and there's one item in particular, it's a face cleaning, like one of those little sheets, pop-up sheets, and clean your face with it. And I've watched, and it has now been almost 30 days since that part has been, and to me, it's like, okay, this is a scientific test for me. This is my science fair project for the year. And I'm watching that. And so I talk to him, and then I'll notice other things, bananas the other day. There were some underneath, and you kind of had to go get your own. And because, again, places are short workers.
Right.
But then they're like, hey, he's like, we keep waiting for the truck to come on different items. And so when you've already got this supply, chain issue going on, they're talking about now toilet paper and paper towel products and stuff, again, being an issue. But unlike when the pandemic started, there was an end in sight. It was just like, oh my goodness, let's ramp up production of toilet paper. Well, you can have all the toilet paper you want in a warehouse, but if you don't have anybody to ship
to the store,
then what good is it?
Yeah, exactly.
And this can be just financially devastating all over. So, yeah, I love this truck driver. And you know what? Good for him. He's a we the people. When our founding fathers put the Constitution in place, they intended for people who lived in these communities.
Citizen legislators.
Yes.
Yeah. It was never intended to be a career.
Right. Joe Biden. How many,
we have
60
now,
years now almost?
We have the president, the Senate Majority Leader, and the House and Speaker of the House. Yeah. All three have never had a real job.
And so how does that happen? You have to at least have had dipped your toe in the pool of the private sector at one point, or else you have people like a Nancy Pelosi who literally walking out of her house to get her $300 tub of ice cream, or however much that was, some way more expensive than what I'm spending. Well, I don't know now with inflation, maybe Bluebell is going to be $300 a gallon, but she's stepping over homeless people who are mentally ill people, who are service members who served our country, who desperately need help. She's stepping over them to get on her fancy jet to go back to D.C. How does that work?
Yeah, and not the fact that all three of them have never had a real job. They have no idea. They've never lived with the policies that they're making.
Right.
They've never been on the receiving end of it. They don't know what it is.
You're right.
To run a business, to sweat out over, are you going to be able to make payroll this month? Yeah. When you see inflation, inflation is a tax on poverty.
Right. Oh, my goodness, yes.
Because it just makes the value of what little money you have less. It takes more of it to get what you used to get.
It does. And it's, and Lathan, it's only getting worse. We had Congressman Van Taylor talking a couple of weeks ago about inflation. We're at an all-time record-breaking high, and there's no end in sight. I noticed some, and again, I'm watching specific items to follow, and because I'm noticing I'm getting the same amount of groceries, the same stuff. I'm a creature of habit. I buy the same stuff every week, and all of a sudden I'm like, wait, that used to be $92. That's $115. What? Right. Well, and I noticed, so the kitchen soap and the kitchen spray cleaner that I like are both now over $4. And again, you start thinking, well, a few pennies here, a few pennies there. It all adds up.
Absolutely.
And it's not going the other way. And I'm like, well, wait, when is it going to come back down? A friend of mine posted on social media, $95 for her to fill up her SUV with gas. And she's got 3 kids. They've got soccer. They've got school. She has a job. Well, you have to get gas. You have to get your kids to school, and you want to take them to the soccer field.
Yeah.
At what point does somebody step in and intervene on this?
Well, I mean, policy matters.
Yes,
I mean,
it does.
The people who are making policy matter, and the policies that get put in place matter. When you do everything you can to disincentivize production of energy domestically, and then turn around and say, well, OPEC should produce more oil, or the Russians should produce more oil. Well, why don't we produce more oil?
Exactly.
We have it.
Yes.
You shut down the Keystone pipeline and okayed Putin's pipeline.
Yeah.
If you want more energy, we've got it.
We
just got to get it out of the ground.
And we have the people who have the ability to deliver it to us.
And get it to market.
Yes, exactly. Well, great commentary, and I'm so glad we got a chance. Like I said, his first Liberty hat has been off for all of the political stuff. His first Liberty hat is staying off for the next couple of things. Are you allowed to give concert reviews in your first Liberty hat? No, let's just keep it off. Let's keep that off. But golly, and I saw a great picture of you on social media with your nephew. His first concert is the Rolling Stones.
I told him, it was like, this is going to win you bets later in life.
Oh, absolutely. I was like, oh, dude, I'm just thinking of how cool that is for him. Like 20 years from now, he has no idea how cool this is going to be.
Yeah.
How was it? I have heard amazing things out of the Cotton Bowl.
Yeah, it really was. The show was really, really great.
Yeah.
I mean, most people have a bucket list of things they want to do before they die, and it's like, see the Northern Lights.
Yeah.
My bucket list is entirely bands that I want to see.
Mine's too. Mine's all concert list. Everybody's like, don't you want to go on a vacation? I'm like, oh, these are vacations for me.
Yeah. So
this is a vacation.
I was really, really, I didn't think that I was going to get a chance to see the Stones, and I was sad that Charlie Watts didn't make it.
Heartbreaking loss, yeah.
Because I had these tickets over a year ago. The show was supposed to be in May.
Yours was because of the pandemic or whatever. Yeah, that was you were one of the people who was caught. Yep.
And I kept the tickets, on my phone.
Yeah.
And just fingers crossed. And then they finally announced that they were going to go back out on tour. They're going to honor the old tickets. So, Daniel had talked to me a little bit about wanting to go see a concert, and I was like, oh, I'll take care of that.
You're like, I'll take you to a concert.
So when I got the tickets and and then confirmed that they were actually coming, then I let him know.
Right.
And he's got a cool mom to let him go on a school night.
Yes. Yep.
But it was a great show. They have so many songs, it's impossible for them to play every song that you would like to hear them play.
So, okay, then what were your top 3 songs of the night? If you had to say, I know this is so hard. But
yeah, I mean,
it's like, which of your kids do you like the best?
Right. They closed before the encore, so the last closed with Jumpin' Jack Flash. Killed it. Left the stage. When they came back for the encore, they did "Gimme Shelter," and the girl that that he's got singing with him, her name's Sasha Allen.
Okay. I've got to look her up.
Blew the roof off the place.
Really? Okay, I've got to look her up.
So they did "Gimme Shelter," and then they finished with "Satisfaction."
Oh, I love it.
But they also did like 19th Nervous Breakdown. They did "Only Rock and Roll, But I Like It." Honky Tonk Woman, which might be my favorite Stone song.
I was going to say that's a great one. That's a great one.
And from the very first time the drumstick hit that little cowbell, like from the first, everybody knows it, and the place goes crazy.
Oh, so, I love it.
Mick, he's 77. He's still out there prancing around.
That's what I've heard, that people are like, you would have thought you were seeing him when he was in his 40s or 50s, that he just doesn't miss a beat.
He's a little slower, maybe.
Yeah.
He's not running around on stage.
Right.
But he was still Mick Jagger. Keith, they played fantastic. Ronnie Wood is a criminally underrated guitar player, by the way.
Okay.
But Keith, he did a couple of songs and sort of in a very Keith Richards way, like, it's great to be here. It's great to be anywhere.
Yeah. I love it. Oh, I love it. God, that's so great. Well, just so thrilled that you got to go. And when I found out you were going to be on the show today, I was like, oh, Rolling Stones concert review. I've heard that the sound at the Cotton Bowl was
really good.
Unreal. I mean, I've got friends who are like, Kathy, indoor, outdoor venue, that is one of the better sound systems. So
yeah, I was shocked how good it was.
Okay.
Because we were we were way up. They had the stage set up probably about, if you're looking at the, at a football field, it was probably at about where the 20 to 25 would be.
Right.
And so then you have the horseshoe, and then the floor seats.
Yeah.
And we were, we were not close, but the sound was really good. There was no problem with, echo and reverb and that sort of thing. Like, I was surprised,
and that makes a difference at a concert. Even even if you're seeing a band you love and they sound great, if the sound system's not so good, it's just not the same experience. So I was very envious. The rain held off. I know it was cold.
I was looking at the forecast all day, and it was looking like it was just going to pour during the entire set. And we got there, it drizzled a couple of times, and that was about it.
God likes the Rolling Stones. Yeah. Hey, good times. There you go. Well, before we've got Angela Powell, we're going to be bringing her on here in a few minutes to promote her new store, and I'm just real excited for her this new adventure she's taking. I've got to ask you, and we love Lathan's rants.
glad
Snarky
somebody
parenthetical. Oh no, trust me, many folks do. So PETA and baseball, and what is their latest beef now? Oh,
nice.
Ba-dum-bum.
Yeah.
Okay.
Score one for Kathy. So yeah, we just put out new episode of Snarky Parenthetical yesterday.
Yeah.
It was delayed a little bit again because of work and other things, but and so we talked about this on the show, so you can see it there too. But PETA apparently during the World Series asked Major League Baseball to rename the bullpen out of sensitivity to the fact that bulls are kept in pens before they're put in the ring in bullfights and all this other stuff. And they wanted them to rename it the Arm Barn.
What is that?
Okay.
What?
So my thought was, okay, PETA, as just as a question when you were debating whether or not you were going to do this, what percentage of bulls in the world do you think know that there is such a thing as baseball?
As a bullpen. Yeah, it's baseball. Yeah, let's
What
start
percentage
off
of
with
bulls
that. Yeah.
know that there is something called baseball, and that in baseball there is an area where pitchers warm up before they come into the game, known as the bullpen? And how many of them who understand baseball are actually upset by it?
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, this is a morning show, so I'll, but I answered
friendly.
but I did answer the question. I was like, I can tell you what every bull in the world is thinking right now.
Yeah.
Every bull in the world is thinking one of two things: I want to get something to eat.
Yeah.
I want to mount a heifer.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
And period. End of
That's
sentence.
it.
Yeah.
That is it.
And that's their gig. That's their jam in life.
Yeah. So PETA, I mean, you talk about jumping the shark, which. And there's another phrase they probably don't like.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure they would not be happy with Arthur Fonzarelli and Happy Days and the Jump the Shark
But
phrase.
You've got a good thing. You've got a pretty good gig, right?
Yeah.
You get to show up at all the movie sets. You get to hang out, just so they can put at the end of the credits that PETA monitored.
approved it, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, no animals were harmed and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just
go
stick
with it,
that.
man. Just go with it.
Just enjoy what you're doing. And, hey, you could probably do a service while you're there monitoring to make sure nothing happens to the animals. Maybe check a prop gun or two.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Really. Would love to get your opinion on that. Another show for another day, but would love to get your thoughts on that. Yeah, with PETA, I'm just like, it's one of those things. You have now obviously, and my goodness, you're an animal lover. I think all of your animals have been named after like Willie and
they're all musically themed.
Yeah, Waylon. Yeah,
so I have a cat named Willie Nelson.
Yeah.
I should say my wife has a cat named Willie Nelson.
Yes.
I named him Willie Nelson.
That is Kim's
my wife's cat.
Yeah.
The other cat is named Layla after the Eric Clapton song, and our dog is Merle Haggard.
Which you gotta love that. You gotta love that. So of course, and I'm obsessed. I mean, I even had not only did I have two costumes, a Halloween party dress and a costume for my dog this year. We also found a costume for our bearded dragon, Mr. Gus. He had a little biker, bearded mayhem, dragons for life, little biker outfit on, because that's what you do with a bearded dragon with your lizard. So we love animals. So obviously we're not promoting any. My goodness, if there are animals out there that are being harmed unnecessarily and stuff.
Right.
I
but
get
this
it.
is what happens to
this
lots.
This is crazy when you're talking about the bullpen. A bull doesn't know.
Yeah, this is what happens to lots of organizations.
Yeah.
You have a mission.
Yep.
And everybody agrees with your mission, and you get really successful at accomplishing that mission, and because you're kind of a victim of your own success, then in order to justify your existence, you start implying all sorts of other things that nobody cares.
No, and that's exactly what you see happening now.
There is nothing that is remotely an unethical treatment of an animal for Major League Baseball to call the area where pitchers warm up in the bullpen.
The
arm barn.
Arm barn.
That's what they would prefer.
Wow, and wow. So, we're going to bring Angela Powell onto the show. Of course, Angela is a Plano ISD Board of Trustees school board member, but she's here today as a business owner, and we're going to talk about her getting ready to start her third startup company. Which this is just great. Come on, We've got you off camera, and so while you're getting seated and getting your headphones on and everything, Angela, I'm going to give a big shout out to my son, CJ, Guitarzan, Siege, Luigi. I've got whichever. Oh, yay! Thank you. Oh, we love swag. Oh, love it. Yeah, I've got anybody who knows me and has been following the show for a while knows I've got a million nicknames for my kids. I think at the funeral they're just going to get up there for my eulogy. They'll say, here are the following 50 nicknames my mom had for me over the years, But anyways, happy birthday to you, CJ. I love you. Happy 18th, and I hope your adult years are just filled with all the happiness, health, and prosperity and peace that you so richly deserve. So I love you, CJ. Not that he's watching this. He's probably pushing aside the birthday card that's next to his sink right now, So we have got Angela Powell in studio with us. And Angela, I don't know if you and Lathan have ever met each other.
I don't think so.
Oh, y'all need to know each other.
I heard there was going to be a fashionista on today.
Yes. So he dressed up for you.
Thank
Yes.
you.
And
Thank
she's
you so
always
much.
very well dressed. Well, Angela Powell, she's a dear friend of mine. I'm proud to call her friend. She's somebody I've supported in her ambitions as a Plano school board member for years now. I've supported you for 2 elections now.
Yes, this is my second term.
Yeah, and she's done an outstanding job for us. But today you're here as a business owner.
Yes.
And Angela, so first of all, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so
welcome
much.
to the crew.
Oh, thank you so much, Kathy,
You're
for having me. I'm
welcome.
excited to be here.
Yeah, well, we're so excited to have you. So she sends me this invitation to a ribbon cutting, and I'm like, oh, tell me more about it. And then I realize, and I know, you're an entrepreneur, and I'm like, oh, this is your 3rd startup. This is your gig. And I'm like, well, come on the show and let's talk about it. So what is your newest venture and how can we support you? And is the ribbon cutting next week open to the public?
Oh, no, the ribbon cutting is actually private.
Oh, okay. Well, so I'll post pictures.
Sorry about that. Sorry. We're hosting it at the Palisades, too. So we have a room limit.
Oh, there you go. Okay, gotcha. Well, so tell us about this new company, and very exciting.
Well, All Star Apparel is a online store where we will provide high quality custom decorated apparel, and if you need T-shirts for your sports team, for your corporation, or for your schools and churches, we can print your T-shirts for you.
I love it. And then in the meantime, Brad, if you can put up a couple of things on screen so people can know how to get in touch with you. If people are like right now, we just placed a T-shirt order with somebody for another event I've got going on. But if somebody right now is like, okay, I've got something for the holidays that I need, a bunch of T-shirts, how do they get in touch with you?
Oh, well, you just go on. You can email us.
Okay.
Or also go online. Our website is www.all-starapparel.com. And then, we have, you can contact us on the website. Or you can also email us at contact@all-starapparel.com.
I love it. Well, how did you get into this industry? And let's talk, because you've had, this is your 3rd startup. So first of all, what is it about startups that you like? And because not everybody can do this. You've done this. This will be your 3rd startup, and you've had 2 successful startups. How did you get into the startup world? Because it's a very different. It's one thing to be a business owner. It's another thing to start a baby from scratch.
Right. I am a startup entrepreneur. I start businesses from the ground up. And the thing is that it's 3 years of, I have an MBA, so I have a business background. And my husband is supply chain. So we start things together. And the experience I have through the years, as I did start my career in teaching.
Yes.
I taught business classes. So, I understand business very well.
Right.
And then, of course, I had 3 children. I spent my over a decade being a volunteer mom.
Right.
And I volunteered at many schools. And then
and when she says many, she's not kidding.
Yes,
many.
Yes, I actually volunteer. Like when my children were in 3 different schools, I volunteered on all 3 schools.
All 3 schools, yeah.
And then I wasn't just like a regular PTA mom. I was on the council of one of the schools.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So She's an overachiever. We love her. I'm always like, when does Angela sleep?
I don't. I don't. I tell you, I don't. Because after this, I'm going to go moderate for a nonprofit.
Oh, there you go. See, there you go.
Fundraiser.
Well, give them a plug. Who is the nonprofit you're helping out with today?
Oh, great.
Yeah.
It's Foundation for Choice.
Yeah.
And I love Foundation for Choice. Foundation for Choice is a mentoring program, and they mentor to Plain ISD students. And they mentor to DFW students, too. So they have volunteer mentors who go into schools and mentor social economic students who are low performers. And so they help these students finish high school. And not only do they help these students finish high school, but Foundation for Choice will help these students get scholarships, apply for scholarships,
I love it.
apply for FAFSA. And, they actually go from getting to know the students, helping the students improve their grades, helping the students finish high school, and helping the students get into college.
I love it. And boy, there is such a need for that. As a mom of kids who one's graduated, one's about to graduate, that whole college and post high school world. It's not easy to navigate. I mean, you almost need a separate degree to figure out where do you go for scholarships. Where do you go? How do you, and they say, I mean, it's almost like a full-time job trying to get your kid, signed up for all these scholarships because they're out there. It's just a matter of how to get in touch with them. So this is a great organization, and are y'all doing? You said a fundraiser today?
Yes, it's a luncheon fundraiser today.
Love it.
And we have Texas State House Representative Matt Sheheen speaking.
Oh,
he's on the panel.
Excellent.
We have our Honorable Fred Moses from Collin College.
Love
trustee.
Fred too. Yeah,
he's a trustee from Collin College. He'll be on the panel, and I'll be moderating the luncheon.
Oh, I love it.
To help raise money for this nonprofit.
I love it. So if you want to give, we've got First Liberty. They're taking donations, and then do you know the website for
Foundation for Choice? Yes, I think it's www.foundation for choice.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so Google it. I'm sure it'll pop up, kind of a thing, and we can probably find it and put it into one of our social media feeds after this. But let's get back to your company. So is your company are y'all up and going? Are y'all up and running now?
Yes, we're up and going. We've had I've done sport teams. For us, I've done a soccer team.
Yeah,
I've done a basketball team. So they're so cute. I've done it for a little sports team.
Oh, I love it.
And do you know what? Parents, all you have to do is just go on our website, contact us, and I will be able to supply your team shirts for you. The sports athletic wear. We'll be working with a karate studio soon. So I've been in touch with the karate instructor, and I've spoken to churches. I actually donated some shirts to a event that was passing out backpacks to students in Irving. So for those volunteers, I made T-shirts for them.
Oh, I love that. Well, and this is one of those things. You've got a good quality product. You've got good leadership at your company. You think that you can just go anywhere and get T-shirts and hats and things of this nature. I've been on the end of having organized a group or organized an event, and the stuff didn't show up on time. And so you're like at 2 a.m, lugging T-shirts to Irving, or it's not the quality that you thought. Like you get it and you're thinking your logo is going to be a certain size, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, so we need to get a magnifying glass to see this. So let's talk about quality. And I know in all of the companies that you've started up, you're big on, you stand by your product.
I do.
So let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, I've done T-shirts for Foundation for Choice. Yeah. So we will be selling their T-shirts at this fundraiser, and I made their T-shirts. And what we do is we do a mock-up for them,
right?
And to see if they like it, and if they like it, we also print a sample. So we will give it to her, and if she likes it, we will print the 100 T-shirts that she wanted. So and then I actually volunteer there too,
right? Yes. People, she does not sleep.
I wear Foundation for Choice T-shirts, and I also help them fundraise in the nonprofit because they're a phenomenally good organization that I totally promote.
Well, and I'm so glad that we got to kind of do a double promotion with your company and then also with this organization. So in a world where people are looking at, you know, can I get my product on time?
Yes.
And we talked about, Lathan and I talked about this a little bit earlier, kind of, you know, you're talking empty shelves out there. You're talking about people are wondering, am I going to get Christmas presents for my kids? Are there going to be, you know, are things going to be delivered on time? How are you able to guarantee that? Because I know you're really big on, if you put your name to something, Angela, I know this about you, and you say it's going to be there and it's going to be good quality, it is. So in a world where we do have supply issues, we do have supply demand issues, how are you guaranteeing that for your clients?
We actually get from the blanks from a distribution center that is local, and so everything we do is local. Yep. So if I say to you, you know, we're going to get it in 3 days, you'll get it in 3 days. But, you know, I'm working with them a week in advance or 2 weeks in advance to with their design. So we can use your logo, or we can help you design a product you want. Oh,
okay. So let's say I come to you and I don't have a logo yet, or I'm a team and I'm like, what do you think? So you actually have people who can help with the concept, the design concept.
Yes.
Oh, see, I like that, because so many companies you go to and you're like, well, I kind of want this, and then nobody has the concept of what it should look like, or what's going to, you know, what's going to kind of stand out and help them stand out.
Or their logo just doesn't look good on a T-shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
yeah.
Hey,
like, sorry, dude.
I know you've had this brand or this logo for 50 years or whatever, but it's not going to catch anybody's eye to put it on a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Maybe we should design something better for you.
Exactly. So that's great that you've got kind of that, you've got a twofold approach, and like you said, you're local.
Yes.
So you can guarantee things being delivered.
Oh, yes. But it's something that was special that we also do that not every organization does, is that when I design a T-shirt for you, and if you look on Foundation for Choice website, that you can click onto the website and it'll take you to an online store. So I will produce an online store for your organization only.
Love it.
So if you click onto her website, you can click onto Foundation for Choice, and you click onto a button where you can buy the T-shirt.
Perfect. Brett, can you pull up Foundation for Choice, and we want to make sure we've got the right website up here. And I want to show our viewers just how easy this is to navigate. And nowadays, I think. Well, for one thing, quality does matter, and we know your company's top notch. Being able to get that product and make sure. Do we have? Let's see.
That's Foundation for Choice.
There we go. And so making sure we've got. If you order it, you are guaranteeing that product will be delivered to you. So it's not like everything else, which, like we were talking about earlier, even toilet paper is possibly about to be in high demand again. And then also, here we go. And then where would they go to the online store?
I think if you go down, they do have a button that that you can order T-shirts. Well, if you look in, there's an upcoming event. Let's see where you.
I wonder if it's in one of these up here. Brad, if you can kind of play around with those, I bet it's going to say it. It'll probably just pop up. But again, so this is something that you can create. So if somebody comes to you and they're like, we have no idea what we want. We kind of know what we're thinking. You guys, y'all can help them. Your company can help them with the design.
Yes.
You can help them. Again, you can help them create an online store. So that not only obviously is that generating revenue for your company, but that generates revenue for that nonprofit.
Yes,
and that's huge, Angela.
Yes. You can use T-shirts as a fundraiser.
Yes.
So basically, I've I can design a T-shirt for a fundraiser, and then you can sell your T-shirts, and then I will design the online store for you, so that when you have a website, your members can go into your website, click onto the link, and then it'll take you to your online store, and your members can buy the T-shirts online, and then we will deliver the T-shirts to them, and you get the money to raise for your organization.
I love it. Well, that's great. Well, okay, again, how do people get in touch with you, and how do they get if they just want to sit down with you and just talk concept? How do they get in touch with you?
Oh, just call my number, and it'll be on the website, and then also the email address. Send us an email, and we'll have someone to call you back.
And what is that email again?
The email is contactus at all-starapparel.com.
Okay, and again, and go onto your website. You've got a very, and I always love websites that are easy to navigate. Since I'm not a real tech savvy person, and I was like, oh, I love this website. I can figure this out.
Oh yes, if you can go back to our website, I'll show you how easy it is. Our website is so easy to where your organization can order from us. So and then if you can, our products. You go in our products, and then you can click out, find out more. There you go. And then you go to sports and spirit wear. And then you go to our products. This is so easy to order.
I was going to say, it's just a couple of clicks away.
There you go. Pick
Love
what
it.
you want, wear your logo, where you want your logo, and then just click it, and then it'll send it to us, to our inbox, and we will have it done for you. We'll call you. We'll help you design it. We'll give you a mock-up, and then and once we agree on how many shirts you want, we will produce it for you.
I love it. I love it. Well, Angela Powell, thank you so much. Yet another startup, and I'm telling you, everything Angela touches turns to gold. So we are really, really excited. Thank you so much for coming on today.
I'm excited.
And look forward to seeing you next Friday at the ribbon cutting, and just real excited. And I'm glad to introduce you two, because I feel like y'all should already know each other, kind of a thing. So there you go. Well, everybody have a great weekend. Have a blessed weekend. This Pink Cloud comes on following us. And we don't forget, next Thursday we have our second annual telethon. Chuck Wright and Andrew White will be joining me that day. We've got lots of folks, lots of veterans coming in, and celebrating all things Veterans Day. If you are a veteran-owned business, please reach out to us, because we still have a few interview spaces available, and we're wanting to promote. If you are somebody who served in the military, we want to support and celebrate you. You don't even have to come in studio. We can link you up, and we can interview you that way. Show us your store, take us on a tour, just exciting times. So don't forget to get out there and celebrate and thank those veterans. And Veterans Day is coming up, a week from yesterday. So we'll see y'all soon. We'll see you Monday. Have a blessed weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.